what the polls say matters no longer. What is being counted now are your and my votes. And this is Guildford, where one of the ballot boxes is being opened, and they've got there, you can see the grey and the white ballot slips that have got to be separated out before the count can begin. And this is happening all over Britain in counting stations at the moment. The polls closed at 10 o'clock, and it's now just before 11 o'clock, and they've only reached that stage. So it'll obviously be some time before we get the first result, which we think may be from Glasgow. We'll perhaps go up there in a moment and see how things are going there. A high poll, we're told, despite bad weather. And welcome back to all of you who were with us a moment ago. Welcome to those of you who've just joined us. Good evening. We'll be on the air here with Decision 79 until 4 o'clock in the morning, by which time we should have a very good indication. And that scoreboard behind me, which at the moment shows nothing, will be giving us some clue as to who is to form the next government of Britain. Well, we've had a lot of talk about polls over the last few weeks, 4 weeks or so. And David, I just wonder whether you think that tonight we're going to see anything like an even swing as a result of the things those polls have been showing over the United Kingdom.
I think we shall see a reasonably even swing, a more even swing than most people have been saying, across the country as a whole, except in Scotland. And Scotland is the trouble because our first result comes from Glasgow, and it may not tell us much about what's happening in the rest of the country where the election is really decided.
Well, Glasgow Central, which has the smallest constituency in the United Kingdom, is the first count that's being done at Glasgow. They're doing something like a dozen counts there tonight, but Glasgow Central, which is a safe Labour seat and won't give us all that much clue of what's happening, and Scotland, as we'll be hearing in a moment, is anyway different from the rest of the country, nevertheless may well be the first vote to be announced. Well, with me here tonight in the election studio, there are a number of other guests, most of whom you have seen in these programmes before, some of whom, if you haven't seen in these programmes, you've seen in other programmes. Among them, Angela Rippon, who is going to be giving us results as the evening goes along, and then who's going to be summing up regularly the state of the story, so that if you've missed something or missed an important result or whatever it is, she'll be able to fill you in on that. And next to her, Robert Mackenzie, who's got his swingometer, who's got a battleground without which he doesn't feel at home, and all the seats that are at risk, and the state of the Liberals, and heaven knows what else. And in a moment we'll go to Bob and just hear from him how he sees things tonight at this stage when the polls have closed and before we've had any proper results in. And then on the other side of the studio, he doesn't have anybody with him at the moment, but he may have a word for us, is Robin Day.
Yes, I shall be performing my usual humble function, and I shall be talking to victors and vanquished and veterans like Lord Hailsham, and some of Fleet Street's leading thinkers, such as Peregrine Westhorn and Peter Jenkins.
Well, that will all be in a moment. But let's just have a look at the prediction in a second that we made here. Now, there's a great gap, obviously, between what the polls say and what the computer, with the help of all the experts, the psephologists, the statisticians, the answer that gives and the answer that we as a country give. But let's just have a look at the prediction that we're showing at the moment. It's going to vary, and it's kept very wide open now. This is roughly what we think, as a result of all that information, is likely to be the outcome. You can see that there's a broad difference between Labour Conservatives. It looks very much as though the Conservatives on this basis will get the 318 they need, because the low level is 311, the high 335. Labour, on the other hand, 273 to 297, not enough on their own to form a government. The Liberals, rather wide variation between 5 and 13. SNP 1 to 5, that's obvious. One thing I should say about that, Big Ben, when you see it, if you want a time check, does actually tell the right time, and it'll be telling the right time whenever it appears by some kind of computerized magic. Now, the party leaders in this election have played an important role. Mrs. Thatcher, you remember, said, "I'll only be given one chance to win or lose." And Mr. Callaghan has said that he'll go on happily for another 5 years, though some people say that he may feel happier to retire to his Sussex farm. But down at Flood Street, where Mrs. Thatcher is this evening at the moment, is Michael Charlton. Michael, do you have any idea what Mrs. Thatcher's plan is tonight, or indeed any feeling about how the election's gone from Flood Street?
No, I don't know, David. I think everybody is listening to you at the moment. We know that she's in here, as we told you earlier, in the house behind me, and we expect her to leave here before midnight to go up to her constituency at Finchley, where we will go with her, and where her agent, Sir Roy Langston, who's a perky little man, looks rather like Arthur Askew, is promising to deliver the biggest majority she's ever had, he says, something like 10,000 votes. Well, we'll see about that. We'll be going up there with her before midnight. We expect her poll to be declared up there around about 1:30 in the morning. And after that, she goes back to Conservative Party headquarters in Smith Square, either to the ritual triumph, as we've been saying, which awaits